drinking, Jody?
Hello, kiddies. Welcome to Gags from the
Hello, boils and ghouls. Welcome to episode 189 of Dads from the Crypt. My name is Jason. I'll be your host tonight, and I'm joined by Jody Lit.
Yep, that's right. That's what I wrote.
Okay.
It makes sense. It'll make sense later.
And Mondo, who's definitely not AI tonight.
Pretty sure.
We're not.
Can any of us be sure? Like, you guys could be AI. I don't know. This could be a big simulation. Who knows?
I mean, after 189 episodes, we can just AI this shit.
Yeah. What even doing anymore? You know what was my existential crisis of the past couple weeks?
Which
Have
one?
you guys read into quantum immortality?
I have not.
Yeah. It's kind of a thing saying that your conscience will never die. You will never die, technically, because every time you die, your conscience just moves into another timeline of yours. And I've been reading about this, how people have had experiences where, like, a guy was saying that he went to go drive at a red light. The light turned green. He hit the gas, and his car didn't move. The gas pedal didn't work, and then a giant semi truck blew the light and would have killed him. And then after that moment is when he started getting Mandela effects of things that happened before that he remembered a specific way that people told him weren't the specific way, thinking like he did in some world he did die, but his consciousness just jumped. It's a real kind of cool thing. But it's just a perfect week to go down an existential rabbit hole and then watch this episode to follow it up with.
Well, especially after jumping acid.
Yeah, it's actually a really cool theory, though. It's not really an existential crisis theory. It's almost like I don't know, it's somewhat hopeful a little bit, I guess.
Reincarnation.
I wouldn't see it as reincarnation,
Adjacent.
but yeah, somewhat of that. But it's an interesting theory. If anybody out there is like me and can't sleep, and then somehow get this idea in their head and must read about it for the next 3 to 4 hours.
It's called ADHD. But
man, my family swears to me that I don't have ADHD, but I'm like, I exhibit so many freaking signs.
Yeah, I understand. My family all swears that I do because they just know that if they ask me something, I better write it down or it's not getting done. So
no, I'm the same way. You know, I also have that thing where I can put something in a weird spot and remember where it's at. But who knows? I don't know. I'm not a therapist, so I'm not gonna, or a psychologist, whatever. Whoever fucking diagnoses you with these things.
Or you've just breached the 40 gap.
Yeah,
you're
maybe
moving to your 40s.
I mean, I'm past my 40s now. I'm fucking 42. I'm old.
Oh,
yeah.
Yep.
I mean, I can verify that Mondo is not AI. Just to clarify for anybody listening, I have never met Jason though. So I cannot verify that Jason is not AI. Jason may have been AI this entire time. I don't know.
I have hugged both of you, so I can verify you guys both aren't
so
AI.
Now it all depends on whether I trust that you actually met Jason. So yeah,
this is a good.
Or
it's complicated.
I mean, I'm sure we're all real in real life, but in this feed right now, because we're all looking at each other on computers. How would we know?
That's true. I could have just set up a program to do this for me, so that I, don't have to prepare like I sometimes forget to do.
Okay, so it would be
prepare this week, just to clarify.
It would be an ADH person's, that would be their thing, to somehow spend months building an AI model of themselves just to get just to fill the 1.5 hours a week they have to do something.
Right.
All right, well, let's get into it. Tonight we're talking Black Mirror Season 7, Episode 4, titled Plaything. Jody, give us a plot synopsis.
All right. So in this one, in the year 2034, we meet a man named Cameron Walker, who is played by at first unrecognizable Peter Capaldi. Like I didn't recognize who he was with his big long hair. Doctor Who himself, or one of the Doctor Who's. He's caught shoplifting, and when the police come to arrest him, this 9 years in the future, they have the ability to scan his face and figure out who he is, and also they take a DNA swab. Well, when they take a DNA swab, they realize he is connected to a murder that took place a while back. They found a body inside a suitcase with someone's DNA all over it. They do not know who the body is, but they know that Cameron's DNA is all over it, and so they arrest him on suspicion of murder. And there, a police officer and a psychiatrist sit and interview him, and he tells his story. Back in the 90s, he worked for a magazine called PC Zone, real magazine, by the way. Real magazine, and he reviewed games and things like that. Y'all remember like reading all those? I used to love all that stuff.
I still have a couple of my Gaming Monthly, gaming monthly.
That was big. Game Pro was big.
Game Pro. I had like boxes of my old magazines until last time I moved. My wife convinced me to get rid of most of them. I think I have like the year-end reviews were my favorites, so I had still some of those around.
Game Informer,
yeah.
Nintendo Power obviously was Nintendo. The
coolest thing about Nintendo shill.
Yeah, but the coolest thing about it though was their cover art. Their cover art was always like fucking awesome.
Well, my dad was a big computer guy. Like we didn't even have a Mac, but he got like the Mac magazines and stuff because he just liked staying on top of whatever was out there. And I loved when we would get like in this episode a CD that came with the game or with the magazine, and you could put it in and play the game. And I think I played Lemmings that way. I definitely played Lemmings.
Yes,
those shareware CD discs.
If I can heavily date myself. Back when my grandfather bought an Apple II GS back in like 88, 89, because he was the same way. He was retired at that point, ex-military, and just wanted somebody to do, and he was a very creative guy. And inside of the Mac magazines, there was QBasic code that you could type out. If you typed it out, it would be a little game that you could play. I thought that was like the coolest thing ever, like sending my grandpa typing all this code out, and then at the end you have a little game you can play.
I absolutely did some DOS games like that on my Dell, big Gateway. It was a big Gateway set in our living room. Anyway, we're off on old man nostalgia for outdated tech right now. I have a feeling this episode would not hit the same way for somebody who's like 13. Like this is made for somebody who grew up in this era. I feel like to really fully get it.
I think though there is a big nostalgia, especially for younger people when it comes to older technology. Like you see it a lot with like retro game stores. I remember back in the day that we had like one or two retro game stores like anywhere within 100 miles of us. Now there's like 10 here in Las Vegas. And I do think I think for younger people who are listening, who might listen to us, and I think it will hit though, because I think it's gonna be really cool for you guys to see some of this older technology, but also to have enough current themes involved into where you can really sink your teeth into.
Anyway, all the 90s technology stuff was just fun Easter eggs, I think, for people who grew up with it. But anyway, so Cameron works at PC Zone. His writing catches the attention of this eccentric programmer, Colin Rittman, who works at Tuckersoft, and he's invited to review Colin's latest game. Real quick, did you all recognize the character of Colin Rittman?
It threw me off because it's kind of crazy when you see these English actors who play so many American roles.
Will Poulter, so he's a big actor now.
And it's kind of crazy. I remember seeing him in like We're the Millers and playing a bunch of comedic roles, but with a very heavy American accent. And I was like, I didn't know he was English, but he's great.
Yeah, with that like platinum blonde. One of my favorite like what ifs is at some point he was cast as Pennywise.
Oh, I can
really?
See that. I think he could have done pretty good. I mean, Skarsgård did great, but I could see him also doing well in that.
More specifically, in the Black Mirror universe, he was in the episode Bandersnatch playing this same character. Bandersnatch was the Choose Your Own Adventure one.
Yeah, I never watched it.
It's also the same director as this episode.
Yeah, same director as Bandersnatch. This is going to be too late for all of our listeners because this episode will come out on the 12th. as of May 12th, Netflix is removing the rest of their Choose Your Own Adventure content. So if you want to watch Bandersnatch, you got like 5 days to do it. If you're listening to this episode, sorry, too late.
I might do that this weekend.
Yeah, go watch Bandersnatch if you haven't watched it yet. It's a cool one.
Real fast, so if you're a Patreon, you got early access to this episode, so you guys know what's up.
That's true. You can go watch Bandersnatch, and the people who don't pay, you don't get to watch Bandersnatch. That's what you get for not paying. Doing this for free. Anyway, so Colin Rittman from Tucker Soft, he has invented a new life simulation game called Thronglets. Think Tamagotchi, Sims, all those type of like little creatures or people or whatever that kind of do their own thing and you interact with them. Except for in this game, they are actually fully sentient creatures. They are a form of artificial life. And when Colin leaves the room, Cameron steals the copy of the game and comes at home and starts playing it. And he really gets into it. They have their own little language that they speak, little squeaks and sounds. And so he's just very fascinated by it. While he's at home, a semi-friend who he is known as Lump, he doesn't know his real name, but Lump is a drug dealer, and he sometimes crashes on Cameron's couch. And he happens to have a whole bunch of acid with him. And he's like, hey, as long as I'm here to sell this acid, why don't we take a little bit and have some fun? So they take the acid, and Cameron realizes under the influence of the acid, he can understand what the Thronglets are saying in their Thronglet language, not just in kind of a vague way, but he can really understand him. He can communicate with them, and they want him to buy some more equipment. So he gets a camera so they can see him, a microphone so they can hear him. And they go back and forth in communication with one another.
Quick question: did they have webcams like that small? In 1994?
Sure. Yes, they definitely did. They definitely did. I remember that was like, but granted, they were.
I mean, not nearly as good, but yeah,
like 5 frames a second. It wasn't anything,
Okay, it was just like this really like the small ball kind that we used to have.
Yeah,
they definitely had those back then.
2000s.
I have real trouble nailing down exactly when old technology happened because it all happened, kind of within our lifetimes, and I just can't remember what happened when. But so Cameron's editor gets back in touch with him and says, hey, remember that review you were supposed to write? You need to actually write it. And so Cameron says, oh, I have to come into the office to do it because my computer is busy. It's running the Thronglets and keeping them alive. And so while as he's getting ready to leave, Lump comes back, and Lump wants to crash on his couch again. This is fine. Goes to work, goes to the office. And while Lump is at home at his home, he sees the game playing and does what many, many people have done throughout time while playing simulation games. He just starts killing them. He starts dropping rocks on their heads or setting them on fire. It's the Sims in the swimming pool, or, Tamagotchis that you left to starve. When Cameron comes back, though, Lump doesn't realize these are actually sentient little creatures. And so Cameron freaks out at the fact that he's murdering these creatures. And then in his rage, he kills Lump and chops him up and puts him in a suitcase, the suitcase that we were talking about earlier. So in the years that follow, no one knows that he committed this crime. And so he just continues to build up his computing capabilities by, scavenging everything he can find, video game consoles, PC cards, to give the Throng more and more capabilities, more computing power, until he builds this like cave of computer system all around him and his computer. And he also shows the officers that he has actually operated on himself and installed like a USB port type thing in the back of his head, so he can plug in and communicate directly with the Throng, who want access to his brain because his brain is basically like a computer. So he says he actually got himself arrested on purpose. The whole shoplifting thing was just a chance to get in here because he has a message for the police officers or for the world. And this was his way of getting it. And the message is from the Throng, who now exist within him. So he can't relay the message in human speak because our language is not as developed as the Throng's language. And so he says, I need to draw something. I need to draw an image for you. And over the protest of the main cop, who it's just a very punchable character the entire time. He's so aggressive. I can't stand this guy. So aggressive the entire time.
They definitely had that whole good cop, bad cop trope kind of going on with the woman.
And I know he's investigating a murder. He wants to get to the murder. I get it. That makes sense to me, but also just a jerk. And so they agreed to bring him some pencil and paper so he can draw what the Throng wants him to communicate. And what he draws is basically a QR code that he says, the reason I'm here really is the Throng want access to your computer systems. The police system, the worldwide system that is connected to, because that's the computing power they really need to do what they really want. And he shows that QR code to a camera, and it basically, like a virus, infects all of the computers and phones and everything else within that network and sends out a signal so that the Throng can enter everyone's brains. And what Cameron says is this is going to bring peace and harmony. It's going to remove all the negativity and violence from humanity. And so the signal goes out, a buzzing noise happens on everyone's devices throughout the world. Everyone collapses to the ground. And at the end, we see Cameron offering his hand to the cop who has just beat him up in the process of all this to let him up. And we don't know exactly what happens. We don't know what happens once the Throng is there, but it's there. And it has invaded all of our brains. So.
All right. Thank you, Jody. Mondo, start us off. What do you think?
This touches on a lot of really cool things. So I felt in my heart when he got back to his computer and saw all his little creatures being killed. And you see some of them that are actually scared. I was like, oh.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. This is again going back to us talking about not being able to do bad things in video games because I feel for the little characters on screen.
I can't even murder the Sims.
No, I can murder the Sims because they annoy me. But let's be honest, humans just aren't as cute as little fucking like yellow pixelated creatures on the screen. But they did a lot of really cool stuff with that about how he gained an attachment to these characters, and it kind of reminded me of like Tamagotchi back in the day when we were growing up. That people, there's cases and there's studies that people got true emotional attachment to these. There are studies nowadays where most people that have Roombas have named them and have emotional attachments to them.
Ours is Charles.
Oh, is it Sir Charles?
What?
Sir Charles?
No, ours is just Charles because that seemed like a good butler name, and he cleans up around the house. And I call him he, like already, like you see what's happening here.
Yeah, so it's kind of like that. So I really enjoyed that. I enjoyed a lot of how they showed the technology progressing through the ages. How he was buying whatever he could get his hands on just to solder it on and get some more power for these little creatures. And I really love at the end of the day the ambiguity that they around the ending, because if you look, if you can think of it in two different ways. One, you can think of it as it's the human race submitting involuntarily to an AI, an electronic being. But the other part to it is they talk a lot about how this is the key, because we need to exist with love and harmony, not with violence and hate and anger, which we're so accustomed to. So the end kind of leads you to believe, like, is this creating a better society, or is this again is this true fascism?
Right.
Realistically,
yeah, if it's being forced upon the society, is that really
right?
Much better?
Right.
So it's a really interesting question to leave you with at the very end of it, which I love. I thought the performances in this were absolutely fantastic, and and just for a little insight, so my company actually does the surveillance systems for UK police departments. And the UK and a lot of places in Europe have true city surveillance. A lot of places in the US do too, but they have true city surveillance where it all goes back to a centralized location. So theoretically, this could maybe work.
Would scanning a random QR code into a surveillance camera activate something?
So it would go somewhere, right? So your
Yeah.
surveillance camera is connected to a recorder, which is then viewable by a computer. So yes, a computer would view it, and if a server were to latch onto that, but you have to look at it in the way of like, if the camera can see it and another computer sees it, I think it's always suspension of disbelief with this kind of stuff.
Or is there? Well, yeah, obviously, but like, is there in real life? Is there a protocol to prevent someone from using a QR code?
No, absolutely not. There's not. No, that one that in absolute and right now, like if I took a security camera and scanned a QR code with it, it would do nothing.
Right.
Depending on the situation. I deal a lot with casinos. Casinos have completely closed off networks where they're not accessible via internet, because you don't want someone being able to potentially hack into your surveillance system.
Right.
Where and realistically, even city surveillance, airports, they have so many sophisticated firewalls set up to stop that sort of thing that it probably wouldn't work. But we also have to understand, it definitely wouldn't right now. But in this world that they built, these are almost autonomous beings that live inside of the computers that can do things outside of our realm of understanding.
Well, and they've been learning and evolving for 20 something years now, and they're at an accelerated rate from what we've learned in 20 years.
I did shed a tear for the Dreamcast.
Oh
yeah,
the most underrated system of all time.
I know, I love my Dreamcast. Well, so two things to add on to that. One is it might be a commentary on the like police state that they're that this feature is living in, where everything is being recorded and monitored. That's what their downfall by being over surveillanced. And two is the QR code he draws is not like a regular QR code that we see. It's like different. Yeah. So it might be like a super QR code or something. Something
I also
different.
Thought a nice touch was the port that he installed in the back of his head was a PS2 port, which hasn't been on a computer in ages. And another really interesting piece of this was he was still using that original computer. He was just adding on to it. And I won't give away too much, but I know there are several places that still have IBMs running on Pentium chips that run their not surveillance, that run their security departments and the security alarm systems, because it costs money to upgrade that kind of stuff. So that's actually pretty realistic, and that can happen.
Well, and
they're talking about with the airports right now are all being run by like computers over 50 years old. Like there was
that is actually
a
little bit. That's actually a tiny bit incorrect. It's mainly certain airlines are running really old computers. There was a case where I think it was a few years ago. I don't remember if it was post-pandemic or pre-pandemic. Everything runs together nowadays, where a bunch of airlines were down because the computer systems had some issue, but Southwest, because they use ancient computers, weren't affected by it.
Yeah. Well, I also know that some of our nuclear technology is run by very, very old computers for the same reason, is nobody can access them unless you are literally standing there with a disk in your hand. So it's unhackable.
There's a system for inventory management called AS400 that a lot of places still use. It looks like straight out of the DOS era. And granted, this is when I worked with the system. It was almost 18 years ago now, but there were like 10 technicians that could work on this system if something went wrong. So if you learn how to work on that system, you can name your price, because they need you if you know how to work on it.
It's funny because the system I work on for work is a medical record system, and there's like the customer facing stuff, which is like, mouse, point, click, everything's all nice, but you build everything in like a DOS text system. So when I go to classes, everyone always complains that when they have to start learning how to use without a mouse, having to click and shift and enter through everything. And it was annoying when I first started doing it, but almost like a second language once I got into it. It just becomes second nature.
Yeah,
it's very old school in that way.
But that's like most language when it comes to any kind of programming. I mean, I don't do much programming, but I do a lot of stuff in MySQL, and MySQL is the same way. It's all just typing in queries to get what you need out of a database or build a database. And it's kind of interesting though, because like a lot of manufacturers of switches for networking, like Cisco, Ruckus, or whatever, they've actually done a lot with their UI or their GUIs to make them more friendly for the so you don't have to be like a super user to be able to manipulate a port and stuff like that. So it's kind of interesting how we've gone in that direction. They're finally realizing that we need to build these to be more end user friendly, because at the end of the day, that makes, like Jason, if it's more end user friendly, it makes your job easier. And I think that's kind of the goal. The goal in the long run is just to make us all obsolete. But
well, for the customer,
that people just fucking just turn this off. Like they're just talking about work and old man technology now.
Yeah, I was just thinking we might be the exact right people to review this episode, because I think we're extremely nerdy, and this conversation is proving that.
Well, also again, the bulk of the story takes place in '94, which I think we're all kind of like very much in our uber nerd phase.
I was 11. I was getting there. I mean, I was reading comic books and Stephen King at that point, so I was pretty nerdy.
I was at my playing with DOS with my dad, and probably accessing the internet for the first time right about there. And my very first time online, I downloaded the script from Monty Python and the Holy Grail. Just to show, exactly what kind of brain I had at the time.
Hey, that just had its 50th anniversary.
That's right. Good stuff.
So I was a member. I went to my friend's house and we figured out how to mod, I think it was Wolfenstein, to have Barney in it.
Man, we used to have I in my computer class, and this had been like 97, 98, maybe 99. I set up a Quake 2 as a LAN thing, because what happened is our teacher ended up leaving like half the way through the year, because he got a job to be like basically the district-wide IT guy, and he couldn't turn that down. So we just had substitute teachers the rest of the year that couldn't teach us C++. I knew C++, so I paid attention to it. So I kind of taught the class. I would tell everybody, like, when you're done, we can get down with some Quake 2. So I installed Quake 2 on all the computers as a LAN, and then I showed everybody how to upload their custom characters, because you could custom. So my two characters I play as was, Jason already knows it's good. One was Eddie from Iron Maiden.
Of
course. Very on brand. The second one I found, because again, people were making custom characters. It's called Sergeant Cock, and he was a cock and balls that walk around on his testicles for feet. And he had a little like old military helmet on, and something about because when you kill somebody in Quake 2, it would tell you like who killed you and how you were dead, how you got killed. So it'd say like Jason was railed, because I used a railgun, by Sergeant Cock, and that was always just to me the funniest thing.
All right, Jody, what do you think of this episode?
Man, I thought this was great. I love this episode a lot. Obviously, there's all this nostalgic tech stuff from a bunch of nerds who lived this. But I just thought it was a really cool episode, because, I like the idea of the sentient Tamagotchi. I mean, I'm sure most of us who did that kind of stuff acted as though they were alive, acted as though they were sentient in some way. From what I was reading, that's actually what inspired Charlie Brooker on this one too, is his relationship with his Tamagotchi as a kid. And he worked at PC Zone reviewing games. He said, like, this is as autobiographical as it gets, because this was him. Like, he was this guy.
That's cool.
But yeah, no, I enjoyed all that. I enjoyed the concepts. The acting was really good. Peter Capaldi was great as the old version of Cameron. The young version of Cameron was a twitchy, sweaty mess that made me feel uncomfortable in all the right ways. But I thought it was a really solid episode, and I don't know whether or not it was an unhappy or a happy ending yet. I still haven't decided yet whether the Throng were the good guys or the bad guys, in that they took over the brains, but they didn't override. Like he says specifically, they didn't override anything. They just added things. And so he's not taking away parts of the people's personality. He's just added something to them. So I don't know if they just made the world better. I mean, I don't think they're as evil as we are. Like, I think they've got to be better than us, right?
Well, if you look at it, like the creatures weren't killing each other. They weren't
No.
going to war. When they were presented with, the roommate doing unkind things to them, they were scared.
Mm-hmm.
I thought that was really an interesting. They made sure to highlight that a couple times, so it's very interesting.
So my theory on this, it might be a little dark, because there's kind of a running theme. There's kind of a running theme about the nature of humanity. It's went from a caveman, violent nature to survive to this trying to be an organized society. And are we fully capable of doing that? And he talks about in his childhood how his father, would get upset and beat him. And then we have the roommate or not the roommate, but the drug dealer guy who kind of perpetuate violence against the throng. And then we also have the cop perpetuating violence against Cameron. So I think and then of course the first person he reaches for is the cop who just beat him. So I think there's no way to know the real answer, but I think more likely than not, this is the throng's way of revenge on humanity, or at least some form of.
So you're going the dystopian route of the throng is now like, screw all you people for being so horrible.
Or at least like, we're going to take over. We don't trust humanity. So like whatever it is, I don't trust them per se. I don't think they're making us 100% better and giving us free will over that. I think they're definitely going to do something to try to make us docile so we can't hurt each other and hurt them.
It's just
whether that's a good thing or bad thing is subjective.
Yeah. It's 2025 and we live with Donald Trump as president. I kind of think we can't fuck it up worse than we already have. Like, let's let the throng try. Like, maybe they can do better.
Yeah.
I'm actually interested in what younger people probably thought of this, because us in our 40s were like, yeah, just fucking burn it all down at this point. I wonder if the young people
Yeah, this would be a good one to have my son on if I had time to plan it out that way. But
I'm definitely going to watch this with my kids because I think they'll like it.
Yeah. So I really like this episode. It's funny because there seems to be this whole mystery about who's in the suitcase. The detective keeps asking over and over again, who's in the suitcase? What's his name? He keeps saying, I don't know his name. But also throughout the episode, the Cameron is asking for, can I just have a pen and paper? I like to draw when I get nervous. And you see, he's not like the most mentally stable guy. And that's, something that someone, with some mental health issues might do as a way of coping. So you just kind of write it off for the most part. And it seems. Go ahead.
No, I was going to. Do you think though? I don't think he was mentally messed up. I thought it was mainly the acid that was like kind of that was a catalyst.
Well, I'm saying. Yeah, but we don't know that. We don't know that yet at the beginning of the episode when he's asking for it, and he's being really kind of odd. But it just seems like a kind of a background factor, and it seems like the bigger mystery is who's in the suitcase. And then once we meet the drug dealer and we see that there's these sentient things, and that at some point he's gonna be left alone and things are gonna happen, and he's probably gonna kill him. So like you think you're ahead of the episode at that point, but that's not really the end game. That's not really the point of this whole proceeding. Isn't the real mystery. The real mystery is why does he want the paper? And that's the thing that's hiding in plain sight. So I really like that the writing there, where it sets you up to think that like what the point of this is, and it's not. It's this other thing that's just kind of there, and then once you reveal it, you're like, oh shit, that wasn't what I was expecting. That wasn't the detail I was paying attention to.
Can I call it? So I thought that's really.
What's up?
No, go ahead. Sorry.
No. So on the writing level, I really enjoyed that. I thought the performance was really great. All the retro technology was great. I think it was funny that he kept saying there's this montage where he keeps buying different video game systems because they have the most advanced video card, but that's not really how those things work. You could, especially for the older ones, you could definitely get better video cards off Amazon or anywhere else than what's in the PS4 at the time. But it made for fun montage.
Here's a question I can cut out of here. My child watched this, said they loved it. Do you want their take on this? They're free right now. We can get them in.
Oh yeah, bring them in. While they're coming in, I also want to point out this was directed by David Slade, who has one of the most interesting filmographies. He started off doing like music videos in the late 90s, early 2000s. His first feature film was Hard Candy, which is probably one of the more disturbing movies.
Very
good, but very, very dark. Very dark.
Patrick Wilson as a bad guy, Ellen Page acting her ass off as a little kid. Like, they're really good.
Yeah, that movie does very uncomfortable.
Yeah,
uncomfortable movie. Exactly. And then he does 30 Days of Nights. He does a Twilight movie. He does like 5 episodes of Hannibal. He did Nightmare Cinema for our friend Joe Russo. And then there's like Bandersnatch and a whole bunch of other like random TV stuff.
I want to know what segment he did in Nightmare Cinema now.
I do have to call a piece of shenanigans of this film though, because how did he kill his roommate? I thought he was going for like a jujitsu X choke, and I'm like, fuck yeah, is he X choking him? Because that's a great choke if you're ever being assailed. For anybody out there, any females out there especially, you want to kill your attacker when they're trying to attack you, learn how to do a fucking collar choke. Trust me. But then when he got on top, he didn't even have his hands around his neck. I'm like, how did he fucking kill him? Because you cross choke obviously like this. If people can't see, I have my hand on either side of my. But the way he did in this, I'm like, how did he kill him?
But yeah. So David Slade, very interesting filmography, very fun choice for this episode. I think he really brought it, and I love the kind of near future surveillance state that they kind of depict, without going too deep into it, but just give us enough. And again, my theory that was part of the downfall by being over surveillanced.
Well, I like when things are just a little outside of reality. You know, like we don't have someone who can scan our face and take our DNA and immediately get results, but everything else that they did is pretty like available to police officers right now.
I mean, if you go to a major city, they do have face scanning. Like if you go to a major event.
Well, it's the police having that thing in their hand that they were scanning, you know, like they scanned his face and got his ID immediately. But it's just slightly out of reach right now, but I feel like it's something that could be introduced anytime.
Realistically, it wouldn't be outside the realm of possibility to do right.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Facial recognition technology has gotten insanely good in the past few years. And it's kind of crazy. We had it set up at our booth at our conference. And we just scrubbed LinkedIn for all these professionals' faces that we thought were coming to the show, and it was catching all of them. And it's kind of crazy how it's going. But again, the idea in the casino world that we live in, my company lives in mainly, the idea behind it more so is to catch your people that are blacklisted.
Right. That's really I could very much see why a casino would want to be able to recognize people as they walk in the door, because hey, this person shouldn't be here. Within a few seconds and kick them out.
Yeah, major sporting events or concerts.
Yeah.
I think do you guys know what Clear is at airports?
Yeah.
So Clear actually for a lot of sporting venues, you can now sign up for Clear, sign up all your details in a sporting venue, and you can go through a special Clear checkpoint where they scan your face, know you have a ticket, and let you in based on that, which is kind of crazy.
Yeah.
And also, let's say while we're talking Will Poulter, we give a little plug for Death of a Unicorn. He's easily the best part of the movie.
I haven't seen that yet. I really want to.
I mean, it's one of those movies where it's okay, but the performances and the caliber of actors really elevates it. Like the script could have been better.
He's one of those guys that anytime I see that he's in something, that's a reason to go see that, because he's really good.
Have you guys seen We're the Millers?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
With Jason Sudeikis?
I remember it, but I don't know if I saw it.
Okay. Jason Sudeikis and
Jennifer
Aniston as the parents.
Yeah.
And he's their kid.
Fake
yeah.
That movie's actually pretty hilarious. I'm just going to point that out.
Pretty good. Yeah.
There's a whole scene with the RV where they get pulled over by I forgot the actor's name. He's a Hispanic actor. He's in everything.
I know what you're talking about.
When he asked him, he goes, Are you gonna give me I'm gonna need 3,000 or I'm gonna need something else? And he tells Jennifer Aniston, he goes, he wants something else. He wants a blowjob. Get there and give out there and give a blowjob. He goes, actually, I'm not into women. So Jennifer Aniston goes, yeah, get there and give him a blowjob. And they're arguing, and he goes, look, this is the last chance. Am I gonna get a blowjob or am I gonna get my 3,000 pesos? And he goes, oh shit, pesos. Then he pays him off.
Luis Guzman.
Luis Guzman, he's so good.
Oh, yeah.
He's great. I love that guy.
He's great in everything. Like he's a very he's an actor with a very dynamic range too.
Oh yeah,
he plays all kinds of different characters and nails every single one of them.
All right, Mondo, is your offspring joining us?
Yes. They said they're testing everything real quick. I said hurry.
Oh, okay. I thought she was like,
if they still lived here, they'd be right here. But of course, they had to move out like an adult.
Is it working?
My child.
Hey.
Hello.
Hello.
This is my
guys.
offspring right here. I helped create this.
Podcast debut. Or at
Yeah,
least
I know,
podcast.
right?
I can tell from all the guitars.
Oh yeah, and they're like all his. So
They're not all mine.
Nice.
there's at least
Did you take one I don't know about? I'm kidding.
no, never.
All right,
So-
Lilith, tell us about what you thought about this episode.
I loved it. I thought it was great. I like the ending. I like that I don't know, that he had the whole thing planned out. It was really interesting to watch just because the development of, I know this is like what the show's about, but I don't know, the development of technology, especially right now, is already kind of terrifying. So there's like a silly element to it that's like, oh, that could never happen. But it could. And 100% could. Like, we're in a spot where we have no idea what's coming with AI and everything like that. I didn't think too much about it at the time. I honestly just thought it was a really fun, interesting episode. A little bit scary. I liked that it was a bad ending. I know that's usually how Black Mirror is, but
Here's the question.
Yeah,
you
tell us
found the
about your
ending?
take. Yeah.
Yeah, what'd you think about the ending? Because we all had kind of different theories about the ending.
I'm kind of on the little guy's side. Like, I'm kind of okay with him invading our brains at this point.
if it's smart enough to do that, I mean, let him do it.
Okay.
I mean, like, that sucks. I wouldn't want my brain taken over by the throng or whatever. That's terrible and terrifying. But at the same time, everybody in the whole world was taken over at the same time. I wouldn't even know that happened. I liked that it was a QR code that had a sound. I thought that was really scary. Super ominous, just like a sound in a couple seconds took over the entire world or whatever. But I don't know. I honestly really liked the ending. I didn't theorize too much on it. I just thought I liked that it was kind of, you know, it wasn't the good ending. It's not what we really wanted to see, or what I wasn't really expecting it at all. So I'd like to, if you have theories, I'd like to hear. But I just thought it was good.
We were kind of thinking about, like, is the ending positive or negative? Because also at this point, all of us in our 40s were like, yeah, it's just time to burn this shit down, and might as well have our brains invaded by some Tamagotchi overlords that don't want violence, much less than the dumpster fire we're surrounded with right now.
See, in the show, they didn't really. It ends kind of abruptly, so I guess you don't get to see exactly what it meant to be taken over by them. So it's like we realistically don't know if being this part of a whole was necessarily a bad thing or not. I mean, that guy, obviously, the main guy or the host, I forgot his name, he was having a great time. He was having fun. So how do I know that it's not a really good time just being a part of this mass? It might have been all right. So
I'm just imagining if I got sucked into my Animal Crossing island.
that'd be great.
That sounds
I'd be having the best time.
That sounds so good.
You
Be like one
remember-
shitty landlord.
But you guys remember that, like, 2 months
As opposed to
period where
now.
there was this harmony with Animal Crossing. We're all like, let's visit each other's islands and let's sell turnips and get anxiety over the stock market.
I just feel like Animal Crossing released at the exact right time that we all needed it in the middle of COVID. So yeah, if I could go to my Animal Crossing island, if I was invaded by Tom Nook, I'm okay, fine, whatever.
Hold on a second. What if you were personally invaded by him, or
Like mentally.
okay?
I don't know. He's kind of an asshole, dude. He was nicer in the Nintendo version. In the original ones, he's a piece of shit.
Oh yeah,
I
no,
don't
the
know.
early games he was mean.
Oh, really? I never played the original ones, but I know that motherfucker wanted his rent money.
He gave
Okay,
you
so
a
maybe-
loan with no
maybe it-
interest
here-
and no payment time. Like you could pay it back whenever you wanted to. I feel like that's really nice.
I mean,
That's pretty
honestly,
awesome, actually.
That's true.
If
That's a great
Tom,
point.
if Tom Nook is a slumlord, maybe that's what that's his game. That's his game to suck all of humanity into different Animal Crossing islands to get more rent.
that works. I'm in it.
Whenever I think about slumlords, I always think of the old Joe Pesci film, The Super.
Oh yeah.
Mhm.
You guys remember that one? Lil, you've never
Yeah.
seen that, probably.
Nah. That's all right.
It's good though. It's a fun one.
I believe it. I trust your judgment.
No, Mondo, I also think it's really special and a dedication to your fandom of Tales from the Crypt that you named your daughter after the villain of a Tales from the Crypt movie.
I mean, they were actually named after the demon. That's fine.
He doesn't even know. He doesn't even know.
I went to the gym. I'm tired. I'm all buzzed. We're rolling. We're rolling here.
It's fine. I didn't really know for a while either. People just say my name is cool, and I'm cool with that. It's great. Works for me.
Your name is fucking cool.
It is cool.
Or he was really,
Everyone's
or
jealous.
he's really into Frasier.
What's I don't get
Are
the
you-
joke. I'm sorry.
Like Frasier, the sitcom.
Oh,
his
yeah,
wife's
No,
name
I
is
know the
Lois.
sitcom. I didn't watch stupid sitcoms though, so I'm not sure what the joke is.
Hey.
Oh,
hey,
Frasier was quality.
Dude, I just cannot do laugh tracks. To this day, I still can't do laugh tracks.
Fair enough.
That's all there is to it. Like
I'm gonna
I think
throw laugh
I
tracks
mentioned
in our
before, I
podcast
can't
now.
fucking watch Seinfeld, but I love Curb Your Enthusiasm. Is what
Okay.
it is.
That's a good one.
All right.
Even I
all
like
right,
that
let's
one.
wrap up the review section. We'll do a rating of 0 to 5, 5 being the best, 0 being the worst. You can do half points. Lilith, what do you give this episode?
Probably like a 4.5. I loved it. I thought it was great. It was scary. I like that there was a shitty ending. It was pretty relevant in some weird, scary
Mhm.
way that I don't understand, but I thought it was great. Super entertaining.
As a younger person, did you enjoy seeing like the old technology?
Yeah, definitely. Especially because Black Mirror is so every episode is a bunch of shit that we don't even have. You know what I mean? It's very futuristic. So it was kind of actually nice. Just it was a little bit of a breath of fresh air. I know it's still set in the future, but it's focused on something in the past, which is kind of nice. So
I
Yeah.
bought that Dreamcast on 9/9/99. That's when it came out.
I saw that. I saw that in the show, and I was like, oh my god, I know what that is.
I bought that when it came out, and man, yeah, it's kind of crazy. It's kind of crazy. I bought it before you were born. And
Mhm.
It was my oh my.
Nice.
I know.
All right, Jody, what do you give this episode?
Yeah, I'm right there at the same place. This is a 4.5 for me. It's really enjoyable episode. Great episode of Black Mirror.
All right, Mondo.
We're hive minding this shit. 4.5.
Oh, we're the throng.
It
I
can't.
was
Again,
really
it
gonna
can't be-
say
It can't be a 5 only because I didn't think 5 when it was over. I was debating. If I'm debating, it's a 4.5.
yeah, no, I'm definitely 4.5. The throng has us.
Ooh,
Oh,
they have already been invaded by the throng.
So every time I say the throng, I think of like the Borg or the collective or
Yeah.
something like that.
I mean, the Borg seem pretty like happy despite their, whole take over the universe thing. They seem, pretty okay.
Well, it's that's their thing, and who are we to knock their thing?
All right, let's take a quick break for a shout out.
Hey, this is Jamie Kennedy. You're listening to Dads from the Crypt. You're pushing it! Hey,
What do you say after that? Did he get weird?
Actually, that part he said first because he kept messing up the dash and the crit part. So I flipped it around.
I feel like he doesn't use conditioner when he washes his hair.
I don't think he washes his hair.
No, it's definitely washed.
Ooh.
It was frizzy, like it was stripped from all oils. So
All right, Mondo, give us your song of the day. And Lilith, you're
Alrighty.
free to stick around or take off if you want.
yeah, you can hang out. You can hang out. Wanna
I'll
hang
hang out. I got nothing to do. I'll chill.
All right, pick a song of the day. Then you're good.
Ooh,
I had something queued up, but I'm gonna push my segment onto my spawn. over here.
Okay, I'll do Solitude by Black Sabbath.
That's
It's
a
one of my favorite
great
songs.
song. That's a
Yeah,
great
and I've been
song.
listening to it a lot recently. I just like it because it's really, I keep trying to find music that's similar to it, and I'm really struggling because it's a very unique, one of a kind thing, and also one of their few in their discography that's like very melodic and beautiful. So it's my favorite. One of my favorite songs ever.
Oh
Yeah.
shit. Okay, I can give you some
Thanks.
recommendations. We'll go off air right
Yeah,
there.
yeah, yeah,
I had a cool one though, so I'm gonna pick one too. Because there's a band from the early '90s called Time Ghoul. And they were kind of a sci-fi themed band. The negative on Time Ghoul is they literally released 2 fucking killer demos in like 92, 90, and 94, and then that's all they did. That's legit all they did. But you can find their album on Spotify, on Apple Music. It's called the 92 to 94 discography, which is the compilation of their first 2 records or their first 2 demos. But it's killer, like early 90s. They're from the United States and they're playing this old school, like fucking Swedish death metal, which is why it's amazing. Very sci-fi themed. So the song I'll pick off that is Infinity Code. Just look it up. You guys can find it on all your streaming platforms. Time Ghoul. But just yeah, that sound is really cool. All rocking the HM2 fucking Boss fucking metal pedal.
I will say, Mono, I've been listening to Dream Unending all week, and I love it.
That band's killer, dude. Like that band
really
is
my
super
vibe.
killer.
Yeah, it's really my vibe.
It's super atmospheric. It's fucking slow. It's the kind of band I would never want to see live. but when you're at home chilling, listening to a record, it's fucking amazing.
I was actually thinking, I was looking up their site to see if they're doing any tours soon.
Dude, I don't think they've released an album. I think that one came out in like 2018, I think. And I think they released another record in like 2021, and that's it. I don't think they're a touring act.
Cool. All right, thank you, Mondo. Jody, give us some more news.
All right, let's start with trailers. We have a few new trailers that have come out this week. The first one is the first trailer for The Long Walk, based on Stephen King's very first written novel. Looks good. It's one of those that I've been wanting to see adapted for a long time, so I am excited that they're doing something with it finally. We also got a trailer for The Ritual, which is an exorcism movie. Okay, so it's supposed to be about the true story that inspired The Exorcist, but it's got Al Pacino and Dan Stevens in it. So, I mean, that's really why you would want to watch it, is Al Pacino and Dan Stevens are in it. I don't know. I don't know if it's going to be good or not. Exorcism movies are hit and miss for me, but maybe. I mean, if Al Pacino is in full Al Pacino, like Scent of a Woman Al Pacino, then I want that. Devil's
Is he the one being possessed?
Yeah, I want Devil's Advocate Al Pacino. But I don't know, man.
I freaking love Devil's Advocate. It's my all-time favorite.
Oh, yeah, it's great.
Oh, Devil's Advocate is fucking amazing. Have you guys seen they're just doing too many exorcism movies nowadays. It's there's a new one on Shudder called Shadow of God. Have you guys
saw that one? Yeah, it looks interesting.
I saw that.
It's okay.
I saw that.
It's pretty good.
Yeah.
Okay. It had its moments, but at the end they just went so over the top CGI, it just fucking took me out of it.
Fair.
Yeah.
All right, now I've got a couple that I want to mention because I had never heard of them, and they kind of showed up in my feed, and I'm curious about them despite some questions I have. So the first one is a trailer for a movie called Sketch. So Sketch, it is about a young girl's like scary drawings coming to life in the real world. I don't know the actor's name. So
it kind of reminds me of Digging Up the Marrow, which was Alex Pardee.
Right. Yeah, I love Digging Up the Marrow. But this is hang on, my whole computer just went black. Okay. So I recognize the lead actor. The lead actor is D'Arcy Camden from The Good Place. She plays the Janets. The good.
Oh yeah.
Oh yes, yes.
She plays the mom. So the cast is great. The concept of children's drawings coming to life, great. All the reviews I've seen, like Roger Ebert, all of those guys, they're giving it like 4s and 5s, like great.
Wow.
Reviews.
Wait, Roger
Is
Ebert
it like
a 4 or 5 now?
Is it like an AI Roger Ebert?
RogerEbert.com. But no, I mean, it's like 4s and 5s across the board. It's made by Angel Studios. Y'all know what Angel Studios is?
Are they the
saw
ones that
about
did that like that anti-child trafficking one that was all made
I don't know
up?
if they made The Sound of Freedom.
Yeah, Sound of
They
Freedom.
were
The one that did that.
I do know they're very Mormon and they're very like family values type stuff. But everyone's saying it's like a family Gremlins type movie, like it's something the whole family. I'm willing to give it a shot. Angel Studios makes me nervous, but everyone's saying it's good, makes me think maybe it's okay. I'm at least gonna watch it.
You know, it's crazy of all the religions. At least Mormonism does change their stances on things sometimes.
I mean, it takes a lot.
Yeah, it does take a lot.
Really late.
Like, you know what? We can let people of color into heaven, I guess.
In the 70s.
If it took him that long to figure that out, I still question it. But
maybe we shouldn't
as we're
try
about to pick the new
conversion.
pope.
Maybe it doesn't work.
So I'm not. I don't know about Sketch. I don't know if Sketch is going to be good or not. But I'm at least I'm curious. I'll say I'm curious. One that I'm very excited about, though, mainly because of my background, is a movie called Mysterious Ways that I haven't seen very much about, but I've been seeing some good reviews on like Letterboxd and stuff like that at the festivals it premiered at. Mysterious Ways is about a team, a brother-sister youth pastor team in a evangelical church who accidentally possess the pastor's daughter. And then there's a demon that they have to deal with. The reason I'm excited about this is the writer/director was a youth pastor's kid from Texas who was homeschooled through their entire schooling. He knows the evangelical subculture. He was brought up in it. This is his stuff. And I was also brought up right up in it. And so I feel like I will be able to relate to this, or at least catch all the reference. Like he knows his stuff. Like the evangelical subculture is so weird that if I started describing all of the things that like were a normal part of my teenage years, everyone else would be completely confused by the things that I did. But this guy was right there in it with me, so I feel like he might be able to actually nail it. So I'm very, very interested in this movie. It's very low budget.
I want you to reach out to him and invite him on the podcast.
Okay. Yeah. No, that sounds excellent. I would absolutely love that.
I watched that trailer. It actually looks really fun.
It looks fun. It looks very low budget, but it looks very funny. It's a horror comedy, so I'm down. All right, outside of trailers, a few little news things. I love the Never Hike Alone series. It's the closest I think we've come to some good Jason movies since Friday. Yeah,
real fast. If you have not seen the Vengeance movies,
oh yeah,
those are fucking killer too.
They're fan films. So they're fan films for Friday the 13th. Both the Vengeance movies, there's 2 of them, and the Never Hike Alone. I think there's 3 of those now. Well, they're making a new one, Never Hike Alone: Ghost in the Fog, which is an animated Friday the 13th fan film. And the animation looks good. The trailer is available on YouTube, teaser trailer, Never Hike Alone: Ghost in the Fog. I mean, more Jason. I'm always down for more Jason. It's been way too long since we've had any new Jason, like officially, so I'll keep taking all these fan films because it's all I got. Another upcoming movie that I'm excited about. We have gotten word that the sequel to Influencer. Did y'all see Influencer?
I don't know. I don't remember this.
Wait, which one is that? The one with the girl on the island?
Yes. Yeah, okay. Where she kind of takes over somebody's life. It's the actress, the actress with the birthmark on her face. I don't know her name.
I don't think I've seen this.
Anyway, Influencer, very good. Really enjoy that one. Well, there's a sequel called Influencers that has just wrapped filming, so we'll be getting that pretty soon. And because I like the first one, I'm down for more of it. The last piece of news I have is comic book news. I thought Mondo might be interested here.
Yeah, I'm a fucking nerd.
Yeah. IDW is going to be.
Yes.
What's that?
No, I was hoping you mentioned this.
Yeah. IDW is going to have a new series called Dark Descent, which is an Event Horizon prequel coming out in August. So
yes, I saw this. I'm super stoked.
More from the world of Event Horizon.
Wow.
So one of the funny stories is that when we did Event Horizon for the podcast, like that morning I'd woken up and Lil was downstairs and goes, "Have you seen Event Horizon?" I'm like, "Let me put it on the TV." That's why
No,
I
I think
it.
no, I don't know if you remember, but you tried to put it on for me, and then I fell asleep. And then when I brought it back up to you, you were like, "Yeah, that's the movie that you were sleeping for." Like I played it for you, and you fell asleep.
Did we watch it again?
We did, yeah, and that's when I was like, "Oh my god, this is the best movie I've ever seen in my whole life."
Okay.
This is crazy.
It's so good.
Also in horror movie news, today on VOD dropped a movie called Thorns that has Doug Bradley in it, which is also very inspired by movies like Event Horizon, The Thing, and Hellraiser.
Okay.
So it's got a 3.3 on IMDb right now, but I'm buying that shit and watching it. So
no, if you look at the pictures from Thorn, it looks like a Hellraiser movie.
Yeah,
like I don't know if it is that much Hellraiser, but it looks like a Hellraiser.
No, I remember seeing that trailer. It must have been like a year ago, or like at least it was a while ago. Because I was like, I put that like on. I like said, okay, whenever that comes out, check it out.
They shot it, I think, about 2 years ago, and they just are not releasing it now.
Cool. Let's let us know how it is.
I don't have any more news, but I do want to mention while we're in this segment and I'm talking, I'm reading on my Kindle right now the book Camp Damascus by Chuck Tingle. And I just want to recommend it because it's really good. I don't know if you're familiar with Mr. Chuck Tingle. Mr. Chuck Tingle is the man who wrote the Amazon. Well, just wait.
Why, Jason? Explain. Why does that sound wrong?
It just gives me the heebie-jeebies. It gives me the ick.
So, okay. Chuck Tingle has written 2 real horror books. He's written Camp Damascus, which is about a gay conversion therapy camp, and Bury Your Gays, which is another gay-related horror. Okay. Before this, though, he was known for writing very quick, cheap Amazon books with titles like the ones I'm about to tell you.
Oh my God, I know who this guy is now.
Me?
Pounded in my butt by my own butt. Space Raptor Butt Invasion. Bigfoot Pirates Haunt My Balls. My Ass is Haunted by the Gay Unicorn Colonel. Okay, we're getting trippy here. Living inside my own butt for 8 years, starting a business and turning a profit through common sense reinvestment and strategic targeted marketing. That's the title. And then my favorite, Pounded in the Butt by my book, Pounded in the Butt by my own book. This is what Mr. Chuck Tingle did before he wrote horror novels. So I was like, what am I getting into? This is going to be silly. It's terrifying. It's so good. It's so well written. Like Chuck Tingle has been teasing us with all the Pounded in the Butt books because he is a good author.
Throw that in Slack chat if you can.
Definitely check out Camp Damascus if you haven't yet. It's not new, but it's new to me.
Dude, I've been going through because they're posted on the Internet Archive all these old Nightmare on Elm Street books.
Mm-hmm.
They are very hit or miss, but there are some fucking phenomenal ideas in there that I wish they'd actually would expound upon. And it always takes me back to when they did the when Guillermo del Toro wrote the idea for, I think it was number 5, where Freddy was just an old man and all the kids of Springwood would just fucking like intentionally summon him to beat the shit out of him. And it kind of reminds me of that. This new one, I'm reading the last one, they call the Black Flame series, but I would recommend those. They are actually pretty fun to read. But it's all about VR. This one's all about like controlling dreams and about almost like Neuralink, which are which fucking dick face Elon Musk is doing. So I would recommend those if you haven't read them. They're easy, quick reads.
I love extended universe type books like that because they're always hit and miss, but there's always so many cool ideas in them.
Yes, there's a part where Freddy's like, he's about to make a joke and he goes, "No, I'm tired of making jokes." Like he's just giving up. He's like, "Fuck it, I'm just gonna kill these fucking kids. Like I'm just done with this bullshit."
Freddy's sick of his puns.
Yeah. Also, if you guys are listening to tomorrow, will be Thursday the 8th. Clown in the Cornfield comes out on in the theaters.
So excited for this one.
I haven't read the book. I'm gonna go see it tomorrow, I think.
The books, I've read the first two. I haven't read the third one because I forgot what happened in the second one enough that I feel like I need to go back and reread it before I read the third one. But I really enjoyed those. And we met
I've
Adam
heard good things
Caesar
about
at
him.
Chattanooga Film Fest last year, or I did. Mondo wasn't able to make it.
I was
Because his
busy. 'Cause a friend of mine got married.
Friend was so inconsiderate to get married on that weekend.
And my
Adam
child
Caesar's
also
a cool
tattooed
guy.
that same friend. Is that why my child
I
tattooed that
did.
same friend?
I did. That's right. It was all
It's all
right.
good.
It was okay.
Have you asked him for follow-up pictures?
No, I don't want them. I'm
I'm
scared.
gonna ask.
You can ask and maybe show them to me a month from now.
Well,
Maybe a year.
I'm pretty sure I've talked about it, but they are a tattoo apprentice at the.
Yes.
I'm not gonna say where because I don't need.
You almost just doxed me. That's crazy.
I almost did, right? I'd like to think that our listeners are cool, but I don't know who the fuck listens to this. So, but they work as a tattoo apprentice somewhere, and they do cool things.
Thanks.
So if you want them to tattoo you, you hit me up first, and I will vet you.
Pre-tattoo application.
That is completely fair.
And you'll either be tattooed or murdered. So
Or both.
choice.
Maybe. Yeah.
Tattooed then murdered.
Yeah, because you could be a dickhead at the tattoo, and then I could murder you afterwards. That could be a thing.
Both and.
I'm just saying. It's out. Just throwing it out there. If you want to get tattooed and murdered, hit us up.
Well, actually, speaking of tattooed and murdered, quick announcement that I got to go to a preview of the new Final Destination movie.
Ooh, yeah.
And I did a review with our friend Allison from the Who's There podcast because she went to another preview in New York, and there were cast members at both of ours. So we got like good info, and we'll be having a review of that movie. I don't know the exact date, but sometime within the week of this coming out. So
all these fancy Richie Riches living in the LA and New York.
I'm like under I don't know how much I can say, but I will just say it's very, very good.
Okay.
I highly recommend.
See, I've been waiting for Final Destination so Final Destination 1 is great. Final Destination 2 is fine, but I love the truck scene. The log truck is the best part of that one, but the rest of it's okay. It gets a little weird. 3 is great. 4 is absolutely terrible. Like just 1 star terrible.
Is that the roller coaster one?
No, the roller coaster one's great. That's the third one. This is the Speedway one.
Oh, yeah.
There's a ton of bad CGI in that one. Like that's really what kills it for me more than anything. But 5 brought it back around. So I'm very excited for more Final Destination because I love the series, even with the bad entries in there. I still won't drive behind a log truck.
Nope.
No tanning beds.
Or the fucking Descent. If they have poles in the back of the fucking truck, no, I'm not driving behind that either.
Yeah. Horror movies have taught me to avoid other cars on the road.
And people and weird places,
So yeah, I will just say very gory, very funny, surprisingly, and also very heartfelt, especially the Tony Todd scene is very like brought tears to my eye.
Yeah, when we saw Sinners, they showed the trailer, and I was like, it's Tony Todd.
Oh, speaking of Tony Todd, a little bit of horror news. He just had a movie that was lost from, I think, like 10, 15 years ago. It was a Charles Band movie, so it's a full moon production. I cannot attest to the quality of it because it's a full moon movie. But it's on Tubi. It's called Cutter's Club. And it's a lost Tony Todd movie that just got refound and reassembled and put up on Tubi. So, more Tony Todd.
Interesting.
Never a bad time for that.
All right. 2 quick things. We want to welcome a new Patreon, Les Hernandez. Welcome to the Crypt. Yay. Yes. And then Lilith, since you're here, you can do some horror kid advice. Tell the parents any tips you might have on how to get their child into horror.
On the spot.
I know.
Man. I mean, it's kind of hard for me just because I was raised with it. You know what I mean? Like, they were having me watch this from day one. So
No, we weren't
automatically
having
I
you
was
watch
into
it. We didn't make you watch anything.
That's what you think. That's what you think. But I don't know. I think I remember it differently
You
because
had
I
your
was pretty
curiosity.
scared of zombies, like real bad for a
No,
while,
yeah, you didn't watch zombie movies for years because you're
a
scared of
long
zombies.
time. Yeah, I do think it's good that you were very transparent about the fact that like this is not real. I promise this is never happening in real life. That was nice.
Well, do you remember when I let you watch Nightmare on Elm Street the first time? I made you watch the special features first
Yeah,
to
and
see
that's
how the
great.
makeup was put on and stuff. Yeah.
That's a really good tip.
That's exactly what I did the first time we watched Friday the 13th. Is I went and looked up some Tom Savini docs online so she could see how all the effects were done, and then it was even cooler.
Yeah, super awesome. I think it's just in my DNA also to like horror, so it wasn't too hard for me to just catch right onto it. And now I love it, and I only watch horror. I don't watch anything else. That's all I like. So
But I would say we never pushed it upon you. Like we never made you. We never told you have to
No.
love horror movies. I think that's very
No.
important with any of your kids. Like I think if you push like what you love on your child, like push it hard. Even though I've been trying to get them to do jujitsu for forever. They did. For the record, they did
I
come
tried.
with me.
I tried.
And they liked it. It's just they work like 8,000 jobs and 8,000
Yeah.
hours a week, so it didn't work out. But I think when you really push stuff on kids, I think it's very difficult to get them into it because then it becomes a rebellion kind of thing. Like I don't want to like my parents like this. My parents like is so uncool, and that's okay. So just let it happen organically. It'll happen.
I mean,
Yeah, and I think that's one thing I get to brag about to my friends too when I talk about how I was raised is like I never had to conceal who I really was. Like I got to just be myself. And that was nice. And like the love for horror and even my love for metal didn't come for a long time. I didn't listen to their music until probably like in the last 2 years. But there was no pressure for any of that. I just got to enjoy that, and now we get to share that as a mutual thing that we both really enjoy, and it's even more exciting, I would say, now than it would have been. But yeah, it's really important not to force your kids to like what you like. I ended up liking it anyway, so you don't even have to worry about it eventually. So
I'm over here just trying not to cry. It's all good.
You did good, Mondo. You did good.
I tried.
I mean, all my friends are jealous. They're always like, "Your parents are so cool." I'm like, "Yeah, wish you were me." I don't know what to tell you.
All right, let's not inflate Mondo too much.
I don't think we can go out on anything better than that, though.
I'm just over here trying to keep my shit together. It's all good.
Or we're gonna have to make that a clip. All right. Well, I think that wraps up another episode. Lilith, thank you for joining us impromptu.
Yeah,
that's really fun.
Thanks for having me.
Hey, where can we find your tattoos at? What's your Instagram
my
for your
Instagram
tattoos?
handle, it is at Lilith Tats, TATTZ. You can follow me there. I post art all the time. Don't look at where I tattoo, please. Not yet.
Yeah, this is the thing is, if you try to find them, you have to deal with me, and you don't want to fucking deal with me.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm a very calm, peaceful person. Now when it comes to my child, I will fuck a person up.
See, I love when people are like, "My dad will beat your dad's ass." Like that was always a thing in like elementary school. They're like, "My dad can beat up your dad." That is not the case.
You know they
that will never be the case. You actually like if you're a man, you have to be concerned about my dad because you actually have something to worry about.
You really don't unless you're not a good person.
Yeah.
I'm a calm guy. But I can fuck a motherfucker up.
Oh yeah.
If I need to.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we appreciate everyone for listening. We would really appreciate if you give us a rating or review on iTunes, a rating on Spotify, a like and subscribe on YouTube, and follow us at Dads from the Crypt Talk on TikTok. And with that, we thank you for listening to Dads from the Crypt.
Follow Dads from the Crypt on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram, or I will follow you to the grave. No, seriously, you really should watch. But be careful what you ask for. You may get it.